Good evening, fellow Plexers, or basically good morning. It's about 10 minutes after midnight here, so ignore this timestamp under this test Windows Plex server install. What I want to do is I want to try and attempt to move this Plex server install to my older Synology NAS to see if I can get it to spin up without any library loss. So what I've done is I've pared this install down to two libraries, a movie and a TV show library, and I've renamed them Win11 to move. If I go into the TV show library, I've created a custom collection with some custom metadata. So this movie and this movie, let me make this full screen. This movie and this movie are added to this custom collection, and I've added some custom artwork to it. There's the background and there's the poster. I just grabbed some images off from Google after searching creature feature, just to have some custom metadata. And then the TV show library, I've added a custom collection just called custom TV shows that has these three TV shows in them. This is all public domain media. And let's go back to my file manager. Let's see, so this is the media I copied off from probably the same NAS or my newer one to this test install to use the public domain media I've collected for all my test servers. So this is also on my older NAS. So I don't have to worry about moving media because I have it in both locations under the same structure. So if I go into the movie library sort folder on the NAS, those same movies are in this main movie folder as what's here, the sort folder, main movie. So that's all a match in each location. So what's important is finding the Plex Media Server application files, which are on the local drive under Windows 11, under user app data, local Plex Media Server. So you see these familiar folders, cache, codecs, crash reports, diagnostics, and so on. And if I move back to the older Synology NAS, the package install the Plex server has the same folders. So let me go here and also show that if I go into the Docker folder on this NAS and look inside the Plex folder, you'll see we get to the same folder structure. So I can try to move it into a package install on the Synology NAS or as a Docker container to see if I can get it to spin up. I really have no idea if this will work or not. Maybe it will. So that's the setup, and I've also prepped a few things under Plex server. I've got the custom metadata created, and I've also gone, where am I clicking? The wrong area. Library under settings, not manage. I've also turned off the automatic scanning, the partial scan when changes are detected. I'm not going to have scan my library periodically checked, and I don't know why that was checked, but empty trash automatically after every scan should be unchecked. And I'm going to go down and save the changes. And then for good measure, it can't hurt, I'm going to go to troubleshooting and optimize database and clean bundles. Because if you haven't done that, might as well do it now. So the next step is to, let's go back up to General. The next step is to stop this server under Windows. So where am I here? And I gave up Windows in 2006, so this is a stretch for me to try to figure all this out under Windows. I'm going to exit the Plex server, and it should kill this server. So now it's gone. So now that it's gone, Let me get back to the application files, user app data local Plex media server. And I'm going to copy, not move this, because why ruin this test server? Alright, so I can't right click under Windows, so Control C. Now I'm going to move to this older Synology NAS, and let me back up. Okay, so I'm going to store this right in my shared media folder for now. This is a test shared media folder. I've created a folder called Plex-Win11, and I'm just going to, well, I guess Control V for paste. I'm going to let that copy over. So it says about 1 minute and 45 seconds. So what I'm going to do is wait for this to finish, and then I will stop this video, save it, and throw this on the network drive too, so I can access it upstairs from my Linux desktop to start the next step of getting it installed on the older Synology NAS. So, to be continued. And I'm back in a more comfortable chair on a more comfortable Linux desktop. So my default OS on my desktop PC, Pop! OS. I do some videos under Ubuntu on the same system, but most are under Pop! OS. So I have my older Synology NAS's DSM interface pulled up, and let's look first. And I have a Plex server installed as a package installed. This is not running at the time being. Currently, let's see, where is Plex? Here's my web app window. Currently, I have a test server running on that NAS in a Docker container. So this is the one we are going to play with. So on the Synology side of things, I could go in and use Portainer, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to just use Container Manager, go to my container, and I'm going to click on it and stop the container. Alright, so it's stopped. So I could do everything through File Station, but that's kind of clunky. Let me just minimize this for now, and I will do everything through my local file manager. So I am into the Synology NAS. Let me back up. Here are the shared media folders on this older NAS. I have a shared media folder for the backups for my main NAS. I have a shared folder for some computer backups. I have Docker with 2 containers, which is what concerns us. I have my test media folder, which is where this test Plex install ended, along with my first video to be joined with this one, and a TV show library folder. So let's do this. Let's open this in a new tab, and then let's back up here and go into the Docker folder, and I'm just going to rename this Plex let me just call it Docker so I know it's my original one. So I need to recreate some folder structure. So over here, let's just create a folder called Plex, which is what, this isn't going to work for me. I need to see them both side by side. All right, let's do it this way. Let's get back to the Synology NAS in this new file manager window. And let's go into the media folder, and all right, so I need to recreate the folder structure here. So let's create a folder called library. Go into it. Create a folder called application support. Alright, so that's where the Plex Media Server folder belongs. And you'll see that this is the same folder structure except for this preferences XML file. And this is what might possibly, or more than likely, bite me in the ass. But I don't know if the preferences has to do with the settings of the server or the embedded metadata that's someplace in the database. So it might not bite me in the ass. So that's the normal structure of my original Docker container. So just so I can redo the test, I'm going to copy, not move this, into the appropriate level. Alright, so let's wait for an estimate. I'll probably end up pausing the video. And I want to try to get this whole thing wrapped up by 1 a.m. so I can get a good night's sleep for the Thanksgiving prep tomorrow. I don't sleep much, folks. 6.5, sometimes 7 hours if I'm lucky. I've been like that my whole life. Alright, so this won't take too long. I am not going to pause the video because I can find something to talk about. So, if you're not familiar with Plex under Linux or Docker containers, they're the same things. The application folder structure is exactly the same. So let me just go in through the Synology file station for a second. If you look in the old container, once you get down to a certain point, everything in this Plex Media Server folder is the same as everything in this Plex Media Server folder. So you can convert a Synology package install into a Docker container under a Synology NAS. I can take a bare metal Linux Plex server install, except for an Ubuntu snap package, and copy that over to a Synology NAS and into a Docker container, or just as a regular package. It's all the same, which means it can be copied to an Unraid server running Docker, or Ubuntu running Docker, or Windows running Docker. Linux is kick-ass because it always works the same no matter how you install it. I could switch to Fedora, and as long as I have the same folder structure, I am golden. Okay, let's get this show on the road because the files have copied over. So, what do I have to be concerned with? Let me get Portainer started up. And I want the one for this NAS. Okay. So if I drill down, you'll see Plex isn't running. If I go into my stacks, and I use the Marius hosting guide, so the container gets its permission to see the media structure here under my Plex Media. So everything else is really the same. I should just be able to start this container up, or do I have to rerun it? I think I have to rerun it, because that'll just pick up the application files that are in use. So let's try that. Let's update the stack, repull image and redeploy. And I have to stay on this page until I have either a success or failure. All right, a failure. Okay. Volume 1 Docker Plex does not exist. All right, so what did I do wrong here? All right. All right, let me pause you guys so I'm not under the clock to take the pressure off. Yeah, okay, so this was a big bonehead move. I jumped ahead a step. So what I didn't do was copy the new application into the Docker container. All right, so now I can cut this and paste it over here. A very big boneheaded move. All right, so when this is finished in a couple minutes, I'll come back. All right, and it copied over. So now let's try to start this back up and see if I get the same error. Okay, we'll go to the editor and we'll update the stack and go from there. Okay, so that's marked as success. So let me clear all these. Let me go back to my containers and let's just wait until this is running and not starting. So there's no sense you guys waiting the couple minutes that'll take. I'll come back once it's set up properly. All right, that was very quick. So we have the container running and I can go back to DSM and let's go back to container manager here, container, let's refresh. And it shows the Plex container running there. So all is good so far. So let's minimize all of this jazz and bring in the web app. Let's see what's showing up here. Now, I'm not seeing anything. Let's refresh this. So it shows this is unavailable. Let's do a little thing. Let's see if I can do this from memory. Let me get a notepad. Okay. Let me go into control panel. Let's go into network. Where is it? Network interface. Okay, so this is the IP address of this. Okay, so I can't remember if it's as simple as that. Let's get a new Chrome window started. Oh, this is wrong. Okay, what am I looking at? looking on my second monitor. All right, let's do this. Make sure I got the formatting right. Let's find the right support document. Okay, so I think I had it right. Okay, that would be correct. Okay, so we have access to something. Let's call this Docker Win Transplant. Let's see if it's truly a new server or if it's a transplanted one. Because a transplanted one should have my custom metadata. So we're showing two libraries. Done. So if I go to the settings, we have this server, and it's claimed by me. No remote access, but that's expected. All right, so if we go into this, look at that. I have custom metadata. This is a beautiful thing. I surprised myself. And we have the custom TV show with the 3 TV shows. Okay, so the test is going to be, let's start a client app up. Okay, so this is probably going to land on my regular Plex server, which people have seen before. Let's go down to more, and we're into the transplanted server. Let's start a movie. Oh, okay, so again, I'm not using my brain. I have to fix the paths to both these libraries. So I do everything off the cuff, and I figure if I make a mistake or I forget something, having that realization in front of you will help you guys to realize that you can fix it too. So this path is wrong, which is why I turned off all the library scanning features. So let's find this same library on the Synology NAS. The alias for the Docker container is myplex media, and that leads to the right media folder. So I'll go to the movie library sort folder, and I'll pick my main movie library, and here's those same movies. And now I can get rid of this path here. Now, even though I've turned off automatic scanning, when I add a new path, whether I leave the old path or remove it, Plex is going to scan for the changes. And if the trash can goes away, the trash can icon goes away, we're golden. So let's take care of both libraries first. All right, what did I click on? All right, so let's find the new path for this. Again, the same alias leads to my shared media folder on this NAS, the TV library sort folder, TV main. I've got an extra I've got an extra test library folder in here. So let's fix that first. This wasn't on the Windows install. And that was for another video. So let's back up here to the media folder, to this, to that. And this was just a little test. These are all dummy files, not any real episode. So let me just ditch that. Okay, with that out of the way, let's do this again. The sort folder, the main movie library with what we need, and I can get rid of this old path that existed on the Windows server. Save changes. And what are we doing here? We're detecting intros already. If I jump into that library, it went so fast there was only one trash can icon to see. So now let's try the HTPC client app again. And if this works, I am super impressed, and I'll have to change my spiel. All right, so let's find that transplanted server. That's not the right one. This one's it. Let's try. Can't get in trouble with this. All right, let's try something from the collection. Let's try the other one. And let's try a couple episodes from the TV show library. So far, so good.
I'm gonna listen to a story about a man named Jed.
All right, this is all public domain media. So, what else can I talk about? Well, I'm not really considering watch history here. I should have marked a few things watched, but with a setting under your account someplace, I'm not going to find it now, but under the account settings, you can have multiple Plex servers sync watch history. So if this doesn't work, you can set that setting up, and if both servers are running at the same time, the old Windows one and the new one in a Docker container under a Synology NAS or Unraid, or even just Ubuntu or Debian or something with Docker installed, you can have both those servers running at the same time, and the watch history will sync between them. Which, let me see here again. I've got these multiple test servers, but if I watch something on one of the test servers, it would also be marked watched on my main server. So this goes out to a specific individual on Facebook in the Plexaholics group, I think. I can't remember your name right now, but this is me eating crow. Yes, you can move a Plex server to Docker from Windows. Yes, it doesn't seem that hard to me, and I just did not expect this to work. And I actually don't know why Plex's official instructions don't make it clear that the Windows server can be moved into Linux just by moving the directory structure. So I don't really know what is in the Windows registry. I don't know what settings are stuck there. But this seemed to work. And I think I want to run this test again. I want to add a lot more custom metadata. I want to set some shows as being watched. I want to document all that. And I want to do this all over again. But this is kind of a good test. And I've got 4 minutes to join these two files and get them up on YouTube. So thanks for watching, and I really do have to do a better version of this video, but this is a great test run. Happy Thanksgiving and happy plexing.